Hi everybody, I'm Andrew Armstrong, welcome to Back Office Teardown Lab. I am clogged. The back office is full of junk, and it's bits of junk like this, which is a brand new space heater. And, well, I say space heater, fan heater, it wouldn't really do much of a space. I'm not sure what the rating is, we'll see that as we come to it. But you can see it's smashed in, and it's just one of these things where it says, Andrew, this thing's smashed in. Can you have a look at it? And I'm like, okay. And all of those accumulate to fill up the back office, and it's driving me nuts because I run it clear. I've got so many projects and so many things like this are just getting in my way. So let's see if we can work our way through some of them. And I might have to just either take them to the tip or put them in a big box and just say, who wants it? Who wants this stuff? Anyway, Zenta. I think Zenta is a e-buyer brand. A good opportunity to have a look at one of these. That's a nice metal grill, so that's a decent grill. There's your fan. There's your power switch, so when you turn it you can hear it clicking normally. I don't know if it's got thermostat there, but here's definitely a thermostatic doodad. Yeah, if you turn the knob here you can hear it. You can see the bimetallics moving around. Yeah, so you have a power knob and a thermostat knob. And there's your heating grid, and that's all pretty standard stuff. And then you got your fan, which is currently saying hello and just flopping around like a useless thing. So that's obviously the problem, because it'll just sit there and grind away, not doing anything. So what I'm going to do is remove the fan so I can remove the backing plate from the fan, and then see if there's any way we can reattach the backing plate. So I think we can do it. This is some crazy cheap plastic. I mean, it's really worrying that you've got this level of bad plastic in something like this. Be kind of worried you might set your house on fire, to be honest with you. It's that cheap, nasty plastic that you used to get on Far East stuff. I tell you what it feels like, recycled plastic, like recycled Coke bottles. But it should be a thermo-setting plastic, so I'm kind of hoping it's not recycled Coke bottles. So that's the part anyway that's smooshed out. Put that aside. We'll actually just flop that over. We might be able to take the heating element out. We could just deal with this all on its own. There's a cable entryway here, so it not really mess too much. You can see it's all brand new cable. It's never been used. It's just like, nope, smashed out the box. So let's position this. Yeah, I think you'd be alright. I think you can actually just epoxy this back in, it'd probably be alright. It's actually got quite a lot of bite. It's flanged itself as it's fallen out. So it's quite deformed, so it's going to take a bit of effort to just clip it back in. It's probably the kind of thing that if you put the resin on, it'll be a nightmare, because you'll be getting resin absolutely everywhere while you're trying to force this back in. So I'm going to have a little fiddle offline, and I might whittle down. I'll show you what I'm going to do though. Probably whittle down these features in here to allow it to slip back in, because that's just going to be hassle. And then we'll see if we can resin this. So you can see it actually clipped in pretty nicely. There's some fractures here, but you can see this area doesn't actually have any holes. So I'm kind of hoping I could just get some resin over there, and the same on the back. So first things first, we'll mix up some resin using a suitable mixing bed. So I'm using this retro TV games. Plugs directly into your TV for hours or minutes of disappointment. I'm just going to use up the whole thing. This resin's been hanging around for a while and it's annoying me, so we're going to use up a massive amount. That's definitely more than we need. Mixing up the epoxy. Sometimes I wish they would add colorant to this. If they did a variant with colorant, I'd probably buy it. You know, I'd get clear and colorized, because colorized would be so good for mixing it, because you could see what you're up to and if you've done a good job of the mixing. So if you want to try to avoid air bubbles, by the way, this whole mixing it this way is always quite good. Smoothing it as if you're trying to plaster your palette. Starry, starry night, plaster your Paris, plaster your Paris, plaster your palette with your goop. Where's all my goop gone? It's. I think I've smeared like a 1mm layer over everything because it's just disappeared. I think we'll be good to go now. So I'm just going to have a look on the inside bit because it's the most kind of annoying part. Yeah, there's some areas here. There's some definite areas. So I'm just going to take a dollop of that there. And I'm going to apply. Oh no! Apply it right in, smooshing it in. The bits where the fractures are. I could actually mix a large scale epoxy and just fill these all these cavities in. That would definitely provide enough adhesion. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do what we're doing here. And that's just getting them from this side, and we're going to tackle them from the other side as well. Get that one in there. So it don't need to be pretty in there. Ideally, I guess you'd leave this, because I think if I flip it over, this resin is going to goop everywhere. In fact, what we'll do then, we'll just fill this one up with this resin, and I'll go mix up another batch for the other side in a minute or two when this one has set, because this is fast setting resin anyway. Gives you, I think, about a minute or so to mess with it. And then it will just start tacking up. Oh no, I just got resin all over the side. Curses. That's the problem with using an old TV video game box. Right, let's throw away the TV video game box. Resin's hard, let's flip her over, do the other side. So you can see, I'll zoom in a bit actually, you can see it's actually a really nice tight fit there, and you can just about see the cracks that are running through it. So I propose I'm just going to put a layer of resin over this centralized part, which isn't part of the vent. There's no holes in it. So I'm going to get some new bond together 2-part epoxy resin. I hope this is a quick. Allow set time of 4 to 6 minutes. Can be handled after 30. Oh no! You got the wrong one. It's fine. It's a disappointment, isn't it? I was expecting something a bit quicker. This one does feel a little bit cheap compared to the usual. Let's pop it anyway. My gosh, that does not want to go. I don't know which one this would be, from Poundland or otherwise, but there we go. Oh, it's almost worked. So I think you've seen me use resin a million times before, but if you haven't, it's just 2 parts of an epoxy. So one part is got the catalyst for the other. Oh my! And you want to try to get 2 even sized dollops as best you can. I'm having trouble here. You can see the left one's not. There we go. We've got them. And you want to mix them up nice and even. And make sure you do not mix up the lids, or you'll never get that off. And if you have a lollipop stick, that always helps. I tend to save my lollipop sticks from my lollipops I have all summer. And I end up with quite a collection actually. It's amazing how many you might go through, especially if you tell your family and just get your kids to give you them. Give them a rinse, because they're actually quite expensive to buy. If you go to the craft shops, you pay a lot for things like lollipop sticks and matchsticks. Just really crazy. So you can just mixing it up. It's better not to get air in it. So if you can, smooth it out like you saw me do earlier. And then, it's kind of ready to go. It's got a serrated edge, so it's leaving a bit on there, but that's okay. I'm just going to blob it where those cracks were so I don't forget them. And then I'm going to work them into the cavities. The idea is I want to give it a nice, quite thick layer across there so it acts as a plug. bit there. And it's got these handy crevices, dimples, which will capture a decent amount. If you've got a piece of Kevlar or fiberglass, you could pop that over there as well at this point, but I don't think it's worth it. To be honest, if you bought one of these and it's broken like this, you probably just take it back. I suspect in this case they may well have just refunded it and just said, yeah, bin it, we don't need that back. And that's it. I'll zoom in. You can see there, see the surface, the shiny surface. Guess I'll have to leave this for 4 to 6 minutes now. We're living in the dark ages. That's looking pretty good indeed. So that's all a bit crispy crunchy, but on the whole about right. Just pop it all back together now, see what happens. Oh. Okay, that's not quite going where I imagined it. Let's just work on the fan. Focus on the fan. Getting distracted. Keep your eye on the prize. Now we've got this weird wire thing, and I suspect that was attached, the thing that keeps the wire in place after, or rather before the fan is in. So I think we've got to try to remove the fan from that motor. There's a spring clip. Looks like a bit of a friction fit. Yeah, much better. Pop that in like that. Now that's more or less approximate. I think that we can put the cable guide in now, the strain relief, and then screw the main body of the fan back in momentarily. Get in there. It's looking quite good, really. I'd still be a little bit hesitant on where I use it. I'd probably still use it more in the workshop than in the house. I don't know, it's just... I'd be hesitant probably to use this in a house normally now, seeing its construction. I'm just don't have faith in that plastic. It's just too thin for what it is. Which is a real shame, really, because we've recently got these various heater units, and you can see videos of them actually, from the Far East on Amazon, and they're really good. They've got digital controls, timers, all sorts of wonderful things in them now. So this being very low tech but also very cheaply made is sad, really, because I kind of think you can have low tech if you're getting a benefit from it. Like, it's just super robust. It's like old school, but it's going to last forever. But this is old school design made with really crap materials, and it's not going to last, and it's possibly going to burn down your house. So I don't know, it's just weird. It doesn't sit right with me. It's where you've taken something and you've cost engineered it to the point of it not necessarily being unsafe, but just be, you know, I'd be untrustworthy of it, because the people who are buying these are going to be like students or people with low incomes. Let's pop that on then. That's looking okay though, isn't it? Now let's pop this heating element back in. It's a bit unwieldy with all these wires. There we go, that's good. Just make sure all the wires go in the right parts of the cavities. Don't let them go in any of the screw holes. Although, yeah, that one looks like it might have had a kiss at some point. And of course we do have a vent to go on there. But before we do any more, I think I'll just turn it on. Off those bits and bobs. Ooh, toasty hot. I mean, it works okay. Ow, that's a lot of heat coming off that now. It certainly works. Worth persevering with, I think, and putting the cover on now. I did notice though one wire, you can see in there, that blue wire is in the is in that cavity. I don't think it makes any difference, but I don't like the idea of it being there. Let's try to push that out of the way. Yeah, I think that's okay. Right. Then we'll get our vent in. It's not plugged in, by the way, at this point. If you're messing around with one, yeah, definitely don't plug it in. There's enough exposed live elements to give you a bad day. Now we do have one interesting screw here. It's got 3 long screws and 1 incredibly short screw. I'm going to have to make a judgment call on that short screw. Let's try it in here. It's almost so short you think, is that from the same thing? Yeah, that one, I don't know. Weird. Let's keep going. I think I'm going to get a different self-tapper for that. And that's how you do it. Ready to go in your shop, I think, under your feet. Keep your toes warm while you're whittling some wood. That's what I like to do. As ever, thank you for watching.